everyone. Welcome back to another great episode of Living and Loving with yours truly, Monique McCall, singer-songwriter. And I'm here today with a very special guest because today I have songwriter, producer, multi-Grammy Award winning and nominated engineer. So blessed to have him here today. He crosses all genres from pop, country, blues, Christian. I probably missed a few in there. He's the father of 3 beautiful children, and he is a nice, wonderful Iowa boy, a Hawkeye, a favorite of mine. So please welcome with me here today, as well as being a dear friend. We also have written so many great songs together, and we're going to talk about that today. Mr. Skidd Mills, thanks for joining me today, Skidd.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see you. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
COVID has really kept us apart, but tell me, what are you doing these days? How are you out living and loving? What's going on in Skidd's world post-COVID?
Nothing really slowed down for me during the whole COVID thing. I think that's just because, most bands, they were stuck at home. They weren't playing out live. So they were at home and everybody wanted to record. And so for me, nothing really slowed down. In fact, I would say maybe I had a slight uptick through that whole thing. So I always joke around with people that once this thing opens up and everybody starts playing out live again, I might not work for 3 or 4 months because everybody's recorded.
I think that you're going to be working because you and I have been working on some great things. So I'm going to keep working as well. So I know that you're out in Music City now, but you were originally in LA, right? Before that?
No, I was in Memphis before Nashville.
Memphis. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how's things in Nashville? Is it opening back up? People are out playing? Because I'm ready to come on out there and get back in the game.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, Nashville. I mean, the state of Tennessee was always, probably a little more on the lax side. They are definitely opening up. Broadway downtown is booming. Every night of the week. So
we're back to having lots of live music in Music City. It's about time. Yeah. So you have been producing and songwriting for so many years. I mean, when did you begin your career, and when did you first know that this was your love of music and producing and engineering?
Yeah. So, I mean, music was always my love, and it's taken me so far through, my entire life, but it was really kind of by accident that I fell into this. I was playing in a band and we were at this show, and this guy came up to me after the show and he was like, "Hey man, do you want a job?" And I was like, "Doing what?" And he said, "Working at a recording studio." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. That sounds nice." So I ended up, getting a job at this studio, and I started off just answering phones and cleaning the place up. And then after a while, they would kind of let me into the studio and let me, mess around. And that's really when I just decided, like, hey, this is what I really want to do. And at that point in my life, I always tell people, I think I was too stupid to know that I could fail, because I just had a tunnel vision that's all I wanted to do was just, I just want to make music this way. And I ended up getting a job at a studio called Ardent, which is kind of it's a pretty famous multi-room studio in Memphis. And I started there around 1991. And I was lucky enough to get behind I had some great mentors. John Hampton, spent a lot of time with him. John Fry, the studio owner, Joe Hardy, Paul Ebersol, all these guys. And that really kind of just was the thing that, that showed me how to make music. And those guys were great at it. And I'm just, blessed that they were part of my life. But and then past that, we just, it was just getting gigs. It was, I might be a second engineer for this guy, and then I would pick up some of his engineering work, and then then from there I started mixing records, and then started producing records. And it really wasn't until probably I was a good 10 years into my career before I went back to like writing songs, which is what we did originally when I first started. That's what I was doing, is just writing songs and playing in bands and stuff. But
So where do you get your inspiration from for your songs?
honestly, I don't know. It's just like, I just love music, period. And I mean, I'm just as happy to sit down and work on an orchestral piece as I am, you know, a metal piece or a country song or whatever. I just, I just love the process, and I just love music, period. So
So now you've been doing music since you were how old?
I would say, so I mean, I started, I grew up playing in band, and I was in choir and swing choir and jazz band, and every, when I was in high school, every waking moment I was down at the music department, hanging out and stuff. And the second, I graduated, I grew up in a small town in Iowa, and the second I graduated, I moved to Minneapolis and went up there, and I was going to school up there, but I was really there just to play in bands and, and kind of immerse myself in the music scene. So,
Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic career. Did you ever think that you would come this far in music? Because I know it's not the easiest business, but you have had just a fabulous and very successful career.
uh, honestly, again, I think I go back to that statement where I said I was just too stupid to know I could fail. And
You attribute your success to stupidity.
yeah, pretty much. Well, it's just a tunnel vision. It was just like, because when I was at Arden, I would literally work, 12, 16-hour days. And, sometimes I might work 100 days in a row without a day off, with that kind of pace,
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays I don't do, I'm not doing anything like that. I mean, but, yeah, so.
Well, I know there's so much intellect that goes into what you do. There's so many moving parts, but tell me about the heart piece. What comes from the heart?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I just feel like, like music is something that God has just put on my heart, and I just feel like that's something that I equate it to, like, maybe when your kid draws a picture and uh, puts it on the refrigerator type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at it, and you really appreciate it. And I feel like maybe that's what music is, where God kind of can look down and, at the music we create as that, like as that picture that's up on the refrigerator or whatever. But I don't know.
So that comes from deep within, doesn't it? When
Oh
you look
yeah.
at the picture that your child has created, like it creates an emotion within. So would you say that it comes from inside of you?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
So with that said, you have written so many songs. You had a really, really successful song called "Addicted." Is that right? From Saving Abel. So on
Yes.
your record label, you had a very, very successful band.
Yes.
And I mean, how did that feel for you to have a song that you had, co-written? It won a BMI Pop Award, and it just exploded.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it was a it's a little bit strange, because as it's happening, it doesn't happen so much like, ooh, the song exploded and then all of a sudden there's all these things happen. It's actually kind of a slow,
Mhm.
building process. So
Mhm.
it just, it went from, I remember, probably the moment that it really hit me was when the band was playing at a festival called Memphis in May.
Mhm.
And it's a pretty big festival. There's probably 20, 30,000 people, at a time, in front of a stage. And I went down there, and they were invited to play. And I went down there, and they got on stage and they started playing the song. And I was kind of off to the side of the stage. And I just remember hearing the crowd roar, and my brain could not comprehend that they were cheering for this band, and for
Mhm.
the song. I was just like, what is that sound, you know and it was like, oh my gosh, that's the crowd going crazy over this song. And that's when it kind of, I think, sunk in for me. you know.
So was it in the writing of the song that really it sunk in, or was it the feeling of the emotions of the people around you that they could feel something from something that you produced?
Yeah, I think it was more that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I know for me, I tell everyone, I said, I do what I do because there's nothing more beautiful as an artist than to be able to move the emotions of your fellow men and women.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes, there's a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of stories where people are moved, and as an artist or a producer or whatever, we don't really even realize that maybe we've touched somebody, and uh, sometimes that's something that you just got to keep telling yourself, that that you can like touch people with music, and you don't always get to reap the benefit of knowing that. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And it is always so nice to know that. I know I love when people come to me and say, Monique,
Mm-hmm.
that song really made something, it made me feel something, those words resonated with my soul. I think the ultimate for me is when someone says they got chills.
Right. Yeah.
Because it just came from within, and they could feel it deeply and profoundly. And it is a tough piece. I had never thought about that, Skid, that there's so many other people, you probably touch along the way you don't know. But, I think that's kind of what drives me personally to do what I do. And I'm sure you as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Right.
Is that knowing that, you can really change lives through song. And, we're so blessed to have you in the music community, because I know that you are doing that and you continue to do that. And I'm really excited about our newest single that we wrote together and you produced, Livin'.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten so much amazing feedback on that. I know the line that everybody loves in the song is one of them is, sometimes you find the light in the darkest places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Definitely true.
and we all hit those times. What has been maybe your darkest place in music?
I would say maybe with you know with success, sometimes there's a point where I feel like I don't even know how to describe it. It's maybe I let some of the success go to my head, type of thing. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And I feel like it took a little while to get grounded, again.
And what were the negatives in that happening? What did you give up?
I think, I think honestly that it put me in a position to think that it's me. You know what I mean? Like I'm the one doing it. It's not this gift that God gave me or anything like that. It's just, I'm in control and I'm the one, doing it. And that's just not true. you know? So
You would probably ultimately say then a lot of your inspiration does come from God or the universe above.
yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely.
And where is God for you? Is God out here? God in here? Where's God?
He's everywhere. I mean, he really is. He's just everywhere around. And I think part of the thing that we do is when I feel like when we're close to him, we see him everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
when we're not, sometimes we will walk around and there might be things right in front of us that normally we should be able to see and we don't, because we're kind of far from him. So
Because we're probably blocked by the
yeah,
things around us, and we're
right,
blocked by, that perspective of I'm doing this. But
right,
when we
exactly.
can step out of that, that's
Yes.
when we see the light
Yep.
in the dark places.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a beautiful story. I really appreciate you sharing that, because that's pretty deep. So what would you say is the best song that you have written, lyrically, and your favorite line in that song?
Boy, I mean, honestly, I, I think one of my favorite songs is a song called "Drowning Face Down,"
Mhm.
which is a Saving Abel song. I don't know if I have a favorite line in it. It's just one of those songs that it was one of the first songs that we kind of, put together. And I just remember the process of it. And I just feel like it was one of those songs that just came together. And it's always been one of my favorites. I don't know if there's a line in there that I'm, particularly fond of, but.
So that title brings up so much for me. Give me a little more here. Drowning face down. What is that about?
I think it's just about, struggling. Really. Mm-hmm. It's just about, it's about struggles for sure. So
yeah. And overcoming those struggles. And I think that's probably been a lot of your success as well. I'm sure along the way that, this hasn't all been easy breezy. Mm-hmm. You've been nominated for multiple Grammys, won multiple Grammys. You have any of them sitting next to you?
I do have one. Yeah, I've got one over here, sitting on the mantle over here. But.
Let's see that.
Right,
hold it up so my listeners can see.
Yeah, my kids always get mad at me because they say I'm hiding it behind all this stuff over here. But let's see.
Nice. Look at that. So that must have been such a grand day for you when you were right there receiving that Grammy. I can only imagine. That's many artists' dreams, biggest dream probably.
Yeah, it was definitely memorable.
So would you say that's the pinnacle of your career, or you have another one you can share?
I don't know if that's the pinnacle. And honestly, I don't know what would be the pinnacle. Maybe I hadn't gotten there yet. So.
Well, you're well on your way. So what is next for you, Skidd?
I really love development, artist development. That's probably the thing that, that I just love to do and drives me. So there's, that's the thing that I keep doing. I like finding bands, and I like, developing them, writing with them. Mm-hmm. And, that's kind of what I do. So.
And I know we have so much fun writing together. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday and finishing up this other song. And then we have another one, which I'm not going to reveal any of the details. But I'm very excited about that because I like the message, and it really aligns with a bit of what we were speaking about today in regards to God and, remembering, where you have to come from within and not look out. Once again, and continue to, share in that joy of love and forging forward through the hard times and knowing that God is always there. So I'm really excited about that one. And I wanted to ask you a really fun question for the listeners, at least those who are songwriters. What kind of advice would you give to someone who is a songwriter or is a developing songwriter? I know that the question that I always get is, where do you begin? How do you begin writing a song?
Yeah, boy. I mean, are you asking like what, just advice for songwriters in general?
Yeah, because people always ask me that. They're like, where do you begin? And I know where I begin, but I would love to know where you begin.
I mean, obviously, I feel like it's an art. And you have to work on it. I really think that you should just be writing all the time, mm-hmm. and being in a room with people. It's so much more than just sitting, at home by yourself and just, trying to hash out everything. I feel like being in a room with people, artists especially, mm-hmm. As a songwriter, being in a room with a songwriter. Versus being in a room with an artist, you have such a better chance of landing that song being in the room with the artist than with another songwriter, if that makes sense. So
it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. I would just say, and you just have to really, really want it. It's it's not really a part-time or a hobby type of thing. Like you just really need to want it.
You really need to invest the time. And I think that's across the board with anything that you mm-hmm. love. You have to pay your dues. You have to do the work. I mean, it really comes down to work. And of course, for me, it's never work because I love doing it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I tell people I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life. But
well, I keep you working. I'm always at you between production and between writing. So I'm really looking forward to finishing up the upcoming songs. So thank you so much for joining me today, Skid. I know you're in a hurry. I know you have so many projects, and I really appreciate you taking time out today to speak with me. But before I let you go, no, of course. Before I let you go, I had one question for you that I ask all of my guests. And I know this is going to be a tough one for you, and it could be one of your originals, but what one song speaks to your heart and sums up the essence of your being?
One song. Does it have to be a song that I was a part of?
No, it can be any song.
Boy, that's a tough question. I don't know if I have one, to be honest. I don't know if there's something. I just can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Well, I'll give you mine while you sit there and think. But actually, the song that speaks to my heart and sums up the essence of my being is Sammy Davis Jr., I've Got to Be Me. And I know truly, no matter where I go, what I do, I've always just got to be me, stay true and authentic to who I am.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be my one song. Does one come to mind?
It really doesn't. I'm sorry.
Come on, Skid. I can't believe it. You're letting me down. Well, I'm going to let you think about that one. And when I see you on Friday, maybe it'll come to you.
Okay.
And you'll be laying there, sitting on the couch, and you'll go, "That's my song." And your wife will go, "What are you talking about, Skid?"
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today in Living and Loving. And you're doing so many great things to live and love. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for you, because I know it's just going to be fantastic, brilliant as you are. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Living and Loving today. Skid Mills, songwriter, producer, Grammy Award winning, nominated engineer, one of the most brilliant people in Nashville I know, owner of Skiddco Music. He's building so many acts and he's creating so much music. He's out there, he's living, he's loving. And you know what you need to remember, as Skid has taught us today, stay within. It's not about you. It's about the universe. It's about God. It's about what we can give back and how we can touch others. Thank you so much, Skid. Have a beautiful and blessed day. And I will see you on Friday. Super big hugs for you and your family, and love to all my listeners. You can catch me here on all my platforms on Thursday, 4 p.m. I'm Monique McCall, country singer, songwriter. Have a blessed day.